The training hall smelled like sweat and metal. Daehyun wiped blood from his lip and tried to stand up straight. His legs shook from exhaustion. Around him, alien cadets watched with cold eyes. They were all bigger than him, stronger, faster. They had scales, claws, and muscles that could crush steel. He was just human. Commander Velrak circled him like a predator. The Dreknari instructor stood nearly 8 feet tall. His reptilian face showed no mercy. Red scales covered his body like armor. His tail swished behind him with irritation. "Again," Velrak hissed. "Show me the defensive stance." Daehyun raised his arms. His muscles screamed in protest. He had been training for 6 hours without rest. The other cadets had stopped 2 hours ago. But Velrak always pushed the humans harder. Always made them prove they deserved to be here. Pathetic. Velrak's claw swept down and knocked Daehyun's arms aside. "Your form is weak. Your body is weak. Your entire species is weak." The alien cadets laughed. Daehyun felt his face burn with shame and anger. He was 17 years old. He had left Earth's colony on New Sol to attend the most prestigious combat academy in the galaxy. His mother had cried when he left. His father had told him to make their family proud. But here he was nothing. Just another inferior human trying to play soldier among real warriors. "I'm trying my best, sir," Daehyun said through gritted teeth. "Your best?" Velrak's laugh was like rocks grinding together. "Your best is an insult to this academy. Look at you, small, soft, your bones would break like twigs in real combat. Why did they even accept humans here? You waste our time." Something snapped inside Daehyun. The exhaustion, the humiliation, the constant mockery, it all boiled over. Words came out before he could stop them. "My grandfather trained warriors better than you," he said. His voice was quiet but clear. The training hall went silent. Every alien cadet turned to stare. Velrak's eyes narrowed to slits. "What did you say?" The commander's voice was dangerously soft. Daehyun knew he should stop. He knew he should apologize. But pride and anger pushed him forward. "My grandfather, Taewon, he trained the Emperor's personal guard. 40 years ago, he taught them everything they know." For a moment, nobody moved. Then Velrak threw back his head and roared with laughter. The other instructors joined in. The sound echoed off the metal walls like thunder. "You dare!" Velrak stepped closer. His hot breath washed over Daehyun's face. "You dare speak such lies?" "The Emperor's Guard is the finest fighting force in the galaxy. They are trained by Dreknari masters who have studied combat for centuries. And you claim a human, a weak, pathetic human, taught them?" "It's true," Daehyun insisted. But his voice wavered now. He saw murder in Velrak's eyes. "Liar." Velrak's claw came up. "You dishonor this academy. You dishonor the Emperor. You dishonor your own worthless species with such fantasies." "My grandfather." The blow came without warning. Velrak's backhand caught Daehyun across the face. The impact lifted him off his feet. He flew backward and crashed into the training mat. Pain exploded through his skull. Blood filled his mouth. His vision swam with stars. "Silence!" Velrak roared. He stood over Daehyun like a tower of rage. "I will not hear another word of your lies. The Emperor's Guard is sacred. They are legends. They would never lower themselves to learn from humans. Never." Daehyun tried to sit up. His head spun. He could taste copper on his tongue. Through blurred eyes, he saw the other cadets watching. None of them moved to help. None of them spoke. They just watched him bleed. "You are expelled," Velrak announced. His voice rang through the hall with finality. "Pack your things. You will leave this planet by tomorrow, and you will tell everyone you meet that humans have no place among true warriors. You are mechanics, farmers, engineers, but you are not fighters. You will never be fighters," Daehyun wanted to argue, wanted to fight back. But his body wouldn't cooperate. His limbs felt like water. The world tilted and swayed around him. 2 alien cadets grabbed his arms and dragged him toward the medical bay. Their claws dug into his skin. They dropped him on a metal bench and walked away without a word. The medical drone scanned him with cold mechanical efficiency. Bruised ribs, concussion, split lip, minor internal bleeding, nothing permanent. Nothing that would kill him. Just enough to remind him of his place. Daehyun sat alone in the sterile white room. Through the window he could see the academy grounds. Alien cadets trained in formation. Their movements were perfect, synchronized, powerful, everything he could never be. He thought about his grandfather. Taewon had died 5 years ago. Before he passed, he told Daehyun stories. Stories about the old days. about the First Contact War, about training the Emperor's finest warriors. Daehyun had always believed those stories. They were all he had left of his grandfather. But maybe Velrek was right. Maybe they were just stories. Maybe his grandfather had been a liar, or maybe Daehyun had misunderstood, misremembered, made things bigger in his mind than they really were. He touched his swollen face and winced. It didn't matter now. True or not, he was finished, expelled, disgraced. He would go home and face his parents, face his friends, face everyone who had believed in him, and he would tell them he had failed. Outside, the sun was setting. The sky turned purple and orange, strange colors on this strange world. Daehyun closed his eyes and wished he had never come here. Wished he had stayed home, stayed small, stayed safe. A sound made him open his eyes. Engines. A shuttle was landing outside the academy. He could see it through the window. Old, battered, not military, civilian. The shuttle door opened. Someone stepped out. An old human man in dirty coveralls. He looked like a mechanic. Grease stained his clothes. His hair was gray. His back was bent with age, but something about the way he moved made Daehyun pause. The old man walked with purpose, with confidence, like he owned the ground beneath his feet. The man spoke to a guard, showed identification. The guard checked a data pad and nodded, pointed toward the medical bay, toward Daehyun. The old man started walking. As he came closer, Daehyun could see his face, weathered, scarred, hard like stone. But his eyes were sharp, alert. They missed nothing. Daehyun didn't recognize him. He had never seen this man before in his life, but something told him that everything was about to change. The old man pushed open the medical bay door. His footsteps echoed on the metal floor. He looked around the room with those sharp eyes. When he saw Daehyun, he stopped. "You look terrible," the old man said. His voice was rough like sandpaper. Daehyun stared at him. "Who are you?" "Name's Sang-hoon." The old man pulled up a chair and sat down with a grunt. His joints creaked. "I'm here to pick up some parts I ordered. Figured I'd check on you while I'm here." "I don't know you." "No, but I knew your grandfather." Sang-hoon leaned back in the chair. "Taewon was my friend, my brother. We served together a long time ago." Daehyun's heart jumped. "You knew him? You were with him during the war?" "The First Contact War, yeah." Sang-hoon's eyes went distant. 40 years ago. Feels like yesterday. Feels like 100 years. We were young then. Stupid. Brave. We did things people said were impossible. Were the stories true? Daehyun sat up straighter despite the pain. "Did he really train the Emperor's Guard?" Sang-hoon smiled. It was a cold smile. A dangerous smile. He did more than train them. He defeated them first, then he taught them how to fight like humans. And they became the most feared warriors in the galaxy because of it. The words hit Daehyun like electricity. Then I was right. I told Commander Velrak. I told him my grandfather trained the Emperor's men. But he didn't believe me. He said I was lying. He hit me and expelled me. Sang-hoon's face went hard. "He hit you?" "Yes, sir. Because you spoke the truth about your grandfather." "Yes, sir." Sang-hoon was quiet for a long moment. Then he stood up. His old body straightened. Suddenly he didn't look so bent anymore. Didn't look so old. "Where is this Commander Velrak now?" "In the training hall." "But sir, I don't want more trouble. I'm already expelled." "I just want to go home." "Home?" Sang-hoon looked at him. Really looked at him. "Your grandfather didn't raise a coward. And your father didn't send a quitter here. That Draknari called you a liar. Called your grandfather a liar. You're going to let him get away with that? What can I do? I'm just human. I'm weak. I'm nothing compared to them." Sang-hoon grabbed Daehyun's shoulder. His grip was iron. "Listen to me. Your grandfather and I didn't defeat the Draknari because we were stronger. We defeated them because we were smarter. Because we refused to give up. Because we used our brains instead of just our muscles. That's what makes us human. That's what makes us dangerous, Konoman, but I can't prove anything. I have no evidence. No records, nothing. You have me." Sang-hoon let go and walked toward the door. "Come on, we're going to have a talk with your commander." Daehyun stumbled after him. His head still hurt. His ribs ached, but curiosity pushed him forward. This old mechanic walked through the academy like he owned it. Guards nodded to him. Instructors stepped aside. Everyone seemed to sense something about him. They reached the training hall. Velrak was there with other instructors. They were demonstrating combat techniques to a group of advanced cadets. The commander's movements were fluid, powerful, perfect. Sang-hoon walked right into the middle of the demonstration. "Excuse me, Commander Velrak?" Velrak turned. Irritation flashed across his reptilian face. "Who are you?" "This is a closed training session. My name is Sang-hoon. I'm a mechanic. I work on ships mostly, engines, life support, boring stuff." He smiled that cold smile again. "But I used to do other things. 40 years ago, I was part of a human unit called Ghost Team. We fought in the First Contact War. Maybe you've heard of us?" Velrak's eyes narrowed. "Ghost Team is a myth. Human propaganda from the war, is it?" Sang-hoon looked around the room. "Funny, the Emperor didn't think we were a myth, especially after we wiped out an entire Draknari battalion using nothing but improvised tactics and stolen equipment. That got his attention. Got it so much that he invited us to his homeworld. Asked us to teach his personal guard how we did it." The training hall was silent now. Every alien cadet listened. Every instructor watched. Velrak stepped closer. "You claim to be Ghost Team? You expect me to believe that? You're just an old human in dirty clothes." "I don't expect you to believe anything," Sang-hoon said calmly, "but I heard you called this boy a liar. Said his grandfather never trained the Emperor's guard. Said humans could never teach Draknari warriors anything. That's interesting, because Taewon was my partner, my best friend, and I was right there when he taught your precious guard every technique they use today." Velrak's scales flushed darker with anger. "Lies, all lies, prove it." Sang-hoon spread his hands. "You say I'm lying, fine, let me show you. Give me 3 of your best instructors. Put them in the training ring. I'll demonstrate the exact techniques Taewon taught the Emperor's guard. If I'm lying, you'll know it immediately. If I'm telling the truth, you owe this boy an apology." Murmurs ran through the crowd. The alien cadets looked excited. The instructors looked skeptical. But there was something else in their expressions too. Uncertainty. Doubt. Velrak laughed. "You want to fight 3 Draknari instructors? At your age? In your condition? Unless you're afraid," Sang-hoon said softly. That did it. Velrak's pride wouldn't allow him to back down. "Very well, old man. But when I crush you, both you and the boy leave this planet immediately. Agreed? Agreed. But when I win, the boy stays. You apologize publicly, and you admit that humans taught your precious Emperor's guard everything they know." Velrak showed his teeth. "Done. Choose your opponents." Sang-hoon pointed at 3 instructors. Him, and you, Commander. I want you in there too." Gasps came from the crowd. 3 opponents was insane. But 3, including the commander, was suicide. Velrak's eyes gleamed with anticipation. "As you wish. We'll make this quick." Sang-hoon took off his coveralls. Underneath, he wore an old training uniform. Faded, patched, but unmistakably military. He walked to the center of the training ring, rolled his shoulders, cracked his neck. Daehyun watched from the edge. His heart pounded. This old man was going to die for him, for his grandfather's honor. It was brave, noble, and completely insane. The 3 Draknari instructors entered the ring. They circled Sang-hoon. Each one was 8 feet of muscle and scales. Each one had decades of combat training. Each one could kill a human with a single blow. Sang-hoon stood in the center, calm, relaxed, almost bored. Velrak raised his hand. "Begin!" The instructors attacked as one, and Daehyun watched something impossible happen. The first instructor came in fast. His clawed hand reached for Sang-hoon's throat. It should have ended the fight instantly, but Sang-hoon wasn't there anymore. He shifted his weight. Minimal movement. The claw passed through empty air. Sang-hoon's hand shot out. 2 fingers jabbed into the soft spot under the instructor's armored scales, right where the nerve cluster connected. The Draknari's eyes went wide. His whole body locked up. Sang-hoon grabbed his arm and used his own momentum against him, redirected the force. The instructor flew across the ring and crashed into the wall hard enough to crack it. He didn't get up. The crowd gasped. 5 seconds had passed. 1 instructor was down. The second instructor roared and charged. He was smarter than the first. Didn't reach. Came in low for a tackle, going to use his superior mass to crush the human. But Sang-hoon didn't try to dodge. He stepped into the charge. His knee came up at the exact right moment. Caught the Draknari under the jaw. The impact rattled teeth. made the instructor's head snap back. Sang-hoon spun behind him. His foot swept the instructor's legs. 8 feet of warrior toppled like a tree. Before he hit the ground, Sang-hoon's elbow came down on the back of his neck. Precisely placed. The instructor went limp. 2 down. 10 seconds total. Commander Velrak stared. His mouth hung open. Around the training hall, alien cadets stood in shock. The Draknari instructors watching from the sidelines looked at each other with confusion and fear. They had seen these moves before. Years ago. Decades ago. From the Emperor's elite guard. Velrak's face went from shock to rage. Impossible. You cannot defeat trained Draknari warriors so easily. I already did, Sang-hoon said. He wasn't even breathing hard. Your turn, Commander. Or do you want to surrender? Velrak's pride wouldn't allow it. He entered the ring, drew his training blade. The weapon hummed with energy. 1 hit would hurt. 2 hits would incapacitate. 3 would kill. Sang-hoon remained unarmed. Velrak circled him, more cautious now. He had seen what happened to the others. He knew this old human was dangerous, but he was still confident. He was a commander. He had 50 years of training. He had fought in real wars, killed real enemies. He attacked with precision, blade work honed over decades, fast, efficient, each strike aimed at vital points. But Sang-hoon moved like water, flowed around the attacks, made them miss by inches, by centimeters, never more than necessary. You're wasting energy, Sang-hoon said calmly. Too aggressive. Too proud. You rely on strength. That's your weakness. Velrak snarled and increased his speed. The blade became a blur. But Sang-hoon kept evading, reading the patterns, understanding the rhythm. He wasn't just defending. He was studying, learning, analyzing every movement. Then Sang-hoon saw his opening. Velrak overextended on a thrust. Just slightly. Just enough. Sang-hoon's hand snapped out and grabbed the commander's wrist, not fighting the force, guiding it. He twisted, used leverage instead of strength. The blade fell from Velrak's grip. Before the commander could react, Sang-hoon was behind him. 1 arm locked around Velrak's throat, not choking, just controlling. The other hand pressed against a nerve cluster in the commander's shoulder. Pain shot through Velrak's body. His legs buckled. Sang-hoon held him there, suspended, helpless. Yield, he said quietly. Velrak struggled. His claws scrabbled uselessly. His tail whipped around but couldn't reach. He was bigger, stronger, more heavily armed, but none of it mattered. The human had him completely controlled. Yield, Sang-hoon repeated. He pressed harder on the nerve. Velrak gasped in pain. I yield, the commander choked out. Sang-hoon released him immediately, stepped back, let Velrak collapse to his knees. The training hall was absolutely silent. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. They had just watched an old human mechanic defeat 3 of their best instructors, including the commander. Made it look easy. Made it look inevitable. An older Draknari instructor stepped forward from the crowd. His scales were gray with age. His eyes were thoughtful. Those techniques, he said slowly. I have seen them before. The Emperor's personal guard uses those exact moves. The nerve strikes. The redirected force. The precise timing. They have used them for 40 years. Other older aliens nodded, murmured agreement. Memory stirred in their minds. Sang-hoon looked at Daehyun. Your grandfather didn't just train the Emperor's guard. He revolutionized how they fight. Before humans came along, Draknari warriors relied on strength and aggression. They were powerful but predictable. Taewon taught them that real strength comes from understanding, from precision, from using an opponent's power against them. He turned to Velrak. The commander was still on his knees, breathing hard. Humans are weaker than Draknari in every physical way. We know that. We've always known that. But we learned to survive anyway. We studied our enemies, found their weaknesses, adapted our tactics. That's what makes us dangerous, not our muscles. Our minds, Velrak looked up. Shame and confusion warred on his face. But we are warriors. We are bred for combat. How can humans... Because you underestimated us, Sang-hoon said. Just like you underestimated this boy. Just like you underestimated his grandfather. And that's why Taewon defeated the Emperor's finest warriors 40 years ago. Why I just defeated you today. Not because we're better. Because we refuse to give up. Because we see possibilities you miss, a sound interrupted them. A holographic projector activated in the center of the training hall. A massive figure appeared. 10 feet tall, covered in battle scars, wearing the ceremonial armor of the Emperor's personal guard. Every alien in the room immediately dropped to one knee. Even Velrak. Even the other instructors, Daehyun didn't know who this was. But Sang-hoon smiled and gave a casual wave. "Hello, Cax, been a long time." The holographic figure's eyes fixed on Sang-hoon. Then recognition dawned. "Sang-hoon? Is that really you? After all these years?" "In the flesh. Well, covered in grease mostly. But yeah, it's me." General Cax laughed. It was a deep rumbling sound. "I was watching the Academy security feed. Saw someone using Taewon's techniques. I couldn't believe it. Thought my eyes were failing. But it's really you." "Your eyes are fine," Sang-hoon said. "How's retirement treating you?" "I'm not retired. I command the Emperor's Guard now. Have for the last 20 years. Cax looked around the training hall, at the defeated instructors, at Velrak still kneeling. "It seems my old teacher is still causing trouble." "Just proving a point," Sang-hoon gestured to Daehyun. "This boy is Taewon's grandson. Your commander here called him a liar. Said humans never trained the Emperor's Guard. Thought I should correct that misconception." Cax's expression went hard. He looked at Velrak. "You struck this boy? Expelled him?" Velrak bowed his head. I did not know, General. I thought he was lying. I thought it was impossible that humans— Taewon saved my life 3 times, Cax said coldly. He taught me everything I know about real combat. He made me the warrior I am today. And you dared to dishonor his memory by calling his grandson a liar. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Every alien felt it. Velrak looked like he wanted to sink into the floor. "You will apologize," Cax commanded. "Publicly, now." Velrak stood on shaking legs. He walked to Daehyun, got down on both knees. "I apologize. I was wrong. Your grandfather was a great warrior and teacher. I dishonored his memory and I dishonored you. Please forgive me." Daehyun didn't know what to say. An hour ago he was expelled and humiliated. Now a Draknari commander was begging his forgiveness. "I accept your apology," Cax nodded. "Good. Velrak, you will reinstate this cadet immediately, and you will treat all human cadets with the respect they deserve. Is that understood?" "Yes, General." Sang-hoon, Cax said. "I actually have something I need to discuss with you. Something urgent. Can we speak privately?" Sang-hoon raised an eyebrow. "Sounds serious." "It is. Very serious. Empire-level threat." Cax's hologram flickered. "How soon can you come to the Imperial homeworld?" "Depends." "What's the job?" "I'll explain when you arrive. But I need help. The kind of help only humans can provide. And I need it fast." Sang-hoon looked at Daehyun, then at the assembled cadets. "Can I bring some students?" Cax smiled grimly. "If they're anything like Taewon's grandson, then yes. Bring them. We'll need all the help we can get." The hologram vanished. The training hall erupted in whispered conversations. Daehyun stood there trying to process everything. His grandfather's stories were true. All of them. And now he was being invited to the Imperial homeworld on some kind of mission. Sang-hoon put a hand on his shoulder. "Still want to go home?" Daehyun thought about it. Thought about everything that had happened. Then he smiled through his bruised face. "No, sir. I want to learn. I want to understand what my grandfather knew. I want to be like him." "Good answer. Now let's get you cleaned up. We have work to do." 3 days later, Daehyun stood in the training hall again. But everything felt different now. The other cadets watched him with respect instead of mockery. Commander Velrak had personally assigned him to advanced combat training, and Sang-hoon had taken over a private training room to teach him and 2 other human cadets. Minho was 19. Tall and quiet, he came from Earth's moon colony. He was good with technology. Could hack any system if you gave him enough time. Jiwon was 18. Quick and sharp. She came from the Mars settlements. She could read people, understand their movements before they made them. Together, the 3 of them trained under Sang-hoon. The old mechanic pushed them harder than Velrak ever had, but differently. He didn't test their strength. He tested their thinking, their adaptability, their problem-solving. Combat isn't about muscles, Sang-hoon told them on the first day. It's about understanding. Every opponent has patterns, weaknesses, habits. You learn to see them. Learn to exploit them. That's how humans survive. He taught them the techniques Taewon had developed. How to read body language. How to use leverage. How to turn an enemy's strength into a disadvantage. How to fight smarter instead of harder. Daehyun soaked it all in. Every lesson felt like a gift. Like his grandfather was speaking through Sang-hoon, teaching him from beyond the grave. On the third day, Velrak joined their training. The commander watched from the sidelines at first. Then he asked questions. Wanted to understand. By the end of the session, he was training alongside them. Learning, relearning, seeing combat in a completely new way. I was taught that strength was everything, Velrak admitted during a break, that the strongest warrior always wins. But you humans showed us that intelligence matters more. Taewon taught us that 40 years ago. I forgot the lesson. Became arrogant. Thought physical power was enough. It's easy to forget, Sang-hoon said, especially when you're strong. Power makes you confident. Confidence makes you predictable. Predictable makes you vulnerable. An alarm interrupted them. Red lights flashed throughout the academy. An announcement boomed over the speakers. Commander Velrak, report to communications immediately. Priority 1 message from the Imperial homeworld. They rushed to the communications center. A holographic image appeared. General Cax again, but he looked different now. Tired, worried. His armor was scorched and dented. Sang-hoon, Cax said without preamble. We have a situation. A separatist group stole an experimental weapon from an Imperial research station. They're holed up in an abandoned space station in the Outer Rim. We've tried to breach it twice. Failed both times. Lost good warriors. What kind of weapon? Sang-hoon asked. Quantum disruptor. If they activate it near a populated planet, it could kill millions. Maybe billions. We have 3 days before they reach firing range of the colony world Nexus Prime. The room went cold. Everyone knew about Nexus Prime. 15 billion inhabitants. Mostly civilians, families, children. What do you need from me? Sang-hoon said. The station's defenses are too strong for a frontal assault, but there are maintenance tunnels running through the structure. Too small for Draknari warriors. Too complex for our automated systems. We need infiltrators. People who can think on their feet. People who can adapt. You need humans, Sang-hoon finished. Yes, I need ghost team tactics. I need that human ability to find solutions where none exist. And I need it in 3 days. Sang-hoon thought for a moment. Looked at Daehyun, Minho, and Jiwon. These 3 are ready. Not perfect yet, but ready enough. They're smart. Quick, they understand the principles. You want to bring cadets on a military operation? Velrak said. That's insane. They're children. I was younger than them when I fought in the First Contact War, Sang-hoon replied. Age doesn't matter. Skill does. Heart does. And these 3 have both. Cax studied them through the hologram. Can you do this? Can you infiltrate an enemy station? Disable a superweapon and make it out alive? Daehyun felt everyone's eyes on him. He was scared. Terrified, actually. But he thought about his grandfather. Thought about everything Sang-hoon had taught him. Thought about all the people on Nexus Prime who would die if they failed. Yes, sir, he said. We can do it. Minho and Jiwon nodded. Their faces were pale but determined. Cax smiled grimly. Good, I'll send a ship to pick you up. It'll arrive in 6 hours. Use that time to prepare. Study the station schematics. Plan your approach, and pray to whatever gods you believe in, because this mission is going to be hell. The hologram vanished. Silence filled the communications center. Velrak turned to Sang-hoon. 6 hours isn't enough time to prepare them properly. They need weeks of training, months. We don't have months, Sang-hoon said. We have 6 hours, so we make the most of it. I want to help, Velrak said suddenly. I want to come on this mission. My arrogance caused this problem. Let me help fix it. Sang-hoon studied the Draknari commander, saw the sincerity in his eyes. You understand this mission uses human tactics? You'll have to follow our lead. Trust our decisions even when they seem strange. I understand. I want to learn. Really learn this time. Then you're welcome. We can use someone with your experience. Sang-hoon turned to the 3 cadets. Okay, we have work to do. Minho, I need you to study the station's security systems. Find weaknesses. Entry points. Anything we can exploit. Jiwon, analyze the separatists. Learn their patterns. Their behaviors. How they think. Daehyun, you're with me. We need to plan the overall strategy. They scattered to their tasks. The next 6 hours passed in a blur. Data streamed across screens. Plans formed and reformed. Questions led to more questions. Problems led to solutions. Daehyun learned about the station's layout. It was old, built 200 years ago as a mining operation, abandoned when the ore ran out. Now the separatists were using it as a base. The maintenance tunnels Cax mentioned ran through the entire structure like veins, perfect for human-sized infiltrators, death traps for larger aliens. Minho discovered the security systems were outdated, Imperial tech but old models. He knew their vulnerabilities, could bypass them with the right equipment. I can get us in, he said confidently. But I'll need time. Maybe 30 minutes per security node. Jiwon studied footage of the separatists, analyzed their movements, their guard rotations, their habits. They're nervous, she said, jumping at shadows. They know the Empire is coming. That makes them dangerous but also predictable. Fear creates patterns. Sang-hoon synthesized it all into a plan. A infiltration route through the tunnels, bypass points for security systems, timing windows when guards would be distracted, multiple contingencies for when things went wrong. And things will go wrong, he warned them. They always do. The mark of a good warrior isn't avoiding problems. It's adapting when problems appear. Remember that. The Imperial ship arrived exactly on time. Sleek, fast, armed to the teeth. The pilot was a young Draknari named Taijin. He saluted Sang-hoon with respect. General Cax speaks highly of you, sir. It's an honor to fly you. They boarded. The ship launched immediately. Through the viewport, Daehyun watched the academy disappear behind them. Part of him wondered if he'd ever see it again. If this mission would be his last, then he looked at Sang-hoon. The old mechanic was checking equipment with practiced efficiency. No fear in his movements, no doubt. Just focus, purpose. Daehyun tried to mirror that calm. Tried to believe in himself the way Sang-hoon seemed to believe in him. The journey took 8 hours. They used the time to review the plan again, memorize the station layout, check their equipment. Sang-hoon told them stories about missions with Taewon, about impossible situations they had survived, about the importance of trusting your team. Your grandfather saved my life more times than I can count, Sang-hoon said to Daehyun, not because he was the best fighter, but because he never gave up. No matter how bad things got, he always found a way. That's what I see in you too, that same stubborn refusal to quit. The words gave Daehyun strength, made him feel connected to his grandfather across time and death. Finally, the pilot's voice came over the intercom. Approaching the rendezvous point. General Cax's flagship is ahead. Through the viewport, Daehyun saw the massive Imperial warship. It was enormous, the size of a small city. Weapon batteries lined its hull. Fighter craft swarmed around it like insects. This was the Empire's military might on full display. And somewhere beyond it, hidden in the darkness of space, was the enemy station. The weapon. The mission. Daehyun took a deep breath, checked his equipment one last time, looked at Minho and Jiwon, saw his own fear reflected in their eyes. But also determination. They were ready, as ready as they'd ever be. The ship docked with the flagship. The airlock opened. General Cax was waiting for them. In person this time. He looked even more impressive in reality than as a hologram. Battle-scarred, powerful. But his eyes were kind when he looked at them. Welcome, he said. Thank you for coming. Let me brief you on the situation. He led them to a tactical center. Holographic displays showed the target station. Enemy positions. The countdown timer. 70 hours until the weapon reached firing range. We don't have much time, Cax said, but I have faith in you. Taewon taught me that humans can do incredible things when pushed to the edge. Let's prove him right one more time. He brought up a detailed image of the station, and Daehyun's blood ran cold. Because there, in the image, was a face he recognized from the files. The separatist leader. The tactical briefing lasted 2 hours. General Cax showed them everything his forces had learned about the station. Guard rotations, defense systems, weapon placements. Every attempt to breach the station had failed. The separatists were well prepared, well armed, and they had the advantage of defensive positions. Standard assault won't work, Cax explained. We've tried twice, lost 30 warriors each time. The station's defenses are too strong. Automated turrets cover every approach. They see us coming from miles away, but they won't see us, Minho said. He pointed to the maintenance tunnels on the holographic display. These passages are too small for most species, but humans can fit. And they're not monitored. The separatists probably don't even know they exist. It's a long shot, one of Cax's officers said. Those tunnels haven't been maintained in decades. They could be collapsed, flooded, filled with debris. That's the risk, Sang-hoon agreed. But it's our best option. Maybe our only option. Daehyun studied the display. The tunnels snaked through the entire station like a maze. Some led to the power core, others to the weapon itself. A few reached the command center where Hyunwoo would be. We'll need to split up, Jiwon said. Cover multiple objectives at once. Disable the weapon, cut their power, create chaos. Splitting up is dangerous, Velrak warned. If something goes wrong, you'll have no backup. If we don't split up, we won't have time to accomplish everything, Sang-hoon countered. Speed is more important than safety here. We get in fast, hit them hard, get out before they know what happened. After more discussion, they settled on the plan. Minho and 2 Imperial technicians would infiltrate the power core. Their job was to create electrical disruptions throughout the station. Jiwon and Velrak would reach the weapon itself, disable its firing mechanism, make it useless. Sang-hoon and Daehyun would go after Hyunwoo. They needed to capture or eliminate the separatist leader to break the enemy's command structure. That's suicide, Kak said bluntly. Hyunwoo will have guards. Elite fighters. You'll be outnumbered. I know him, Sang-hoon said. He'll want to face me personally. His pride will demand it. That gives us an advantage. They had 12 hours before the mission began. 12 hours to rest, to prepare mentally, to accept that they might not survive. Daehyun couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about what lay ahead, about the weapon that could kill billions, about facing the man who had betrayed his grandfather's legacy. Finally, he gave up trying to rest and went looking for Sang-hoon. He found the old man in an observation room. Sang-hoon stood at the viewport staring out at the stars. He looked tired, old. The weight of decades pressed down on his shoulders. Can't sleep either? Sang-hoon asked without turning around. No, sir. I keep thinking about Hyunwoo. About what he did? Why he betrayed you? Sang-hoon was quiet for a long moment. You want to know the whole story? About Ghost Team and what happened? Yes, sir. Sit down. It's not a short tale. Sang-hoon settled into a chair with a grunt. 40 years ago, humans were new to the galaxy. We'd just developed faster than light travel. We were excited, naive. We thought the other species would welcome us. Instead, we found the Dreknari Empire. They saw us as weak, as prey. They attacked our first colony ships without warning. Daehyun listened intently. He knew the basic history, but not the details. The war was brutal, Sang-hoon continued. We were outmatched in every way, weaker, slower, less advanced technology. The Empire thought they'd crush us in months. But humans are stubborn. We adapted, learned, found ways to fight that didn't rely on strength. That's when Ghost Team was formed? Yes, 6 humans. Special Forces volunteers. Your grandfather Taewon, me, Hyunwoo, and 3 others. Our mission was impossible. Infiltrate Dreknari territory and disable their command center. Everyone said we'd die. But we succeeded. Used guerrilla tactics, hit and run, psychological warfare. We made the Empire fear us. Sang-hoon's eyes went distant with memory. The turning point was the Battle of Crimson Ridge. A full Dreknari battalion attacked one of our outposts. 500 alien warriors against 30 humans. We should have been massacred. Instead, we won. Taewon developed new tactics on the fly. Used the terrain, set traps, divided their forces. By the time it was over, the battalion was destroyed and we only lost 2 people. The Empire couldn't believe it, Sang-hoon said. They'd been defeated by weak humans using nothing but intelligence and determination. It shook them, made them question everything they thought they knew about strength. That's when the Emperor himself called for a ceasefire, invited us to his homeworld, asked us to teach his personal guard. And you agreed? We did, because it wasn't about revenge. It was about proving ourselves, showing that humans deserved respect. Taewon spent 2 years training the Emperor's Guard, revolutionized their entire combat system, and the Empire changed, slowly, started viewing us as equals instead of prey. So what happened to Hyunwoo? Sang-hoon's expression darkened. He never forgave them, never forgot what the Empire did to us during the war. He thought we were betraying humanity by working with them, thought we should use our advantage to take control, lead instead of cooperate. We argued about it constantly, Sang-hoon said. Hyunwoo wanted humans to dominate the galaxy, said we were smarter than every other species, said we should rule, but Taewon disagreed. He believed in cooperation, in proving our worth through partnership, not conquest. One day, Hyunwoo just vanished, Sang-hoon continued. Left a message saying he couldn't watch us bow to aliens anymore. We searched for years, never found him. Eventually, we assumed he died somewhere in the Outer Rim. But he didn't die. Daehyun said. No, he built a rebellion instead. Recruited other humans who felt the same way. People who thought the Empire was using us, exploiting our intelligence to strengthen their control over other species. Sang-hoon rubbed his face tiredly. The worst part? He's not entirely wrong. The Empire has used human innovations to tighten their grip. Our technology, our tactics, our ideas. They've made the Empire stronger than ever. But killing billions of innocent people won't fix that, Daehyun said. No, it won't. That's where Hyunwoo lost his way. He thinks he's fighting for humanity, but he's just become another tyrant. Another person willing to murder for power. Sang-hoon looked at Daehyun. Tomorrow I have to face my old friend. Maybe kill him. I need you to understand why. Not because he's evil, but because he chose the wrong path. Because he let anger and pride corrupt his judgment. Daehyun nodded slowly. I understand, sir. Your grandfather would be proud of you, Sang-hoon said. You have his courage, his determination, but you also have something he sometimes lacked. You know when to trust others, when to build bridges instead of walls. They sat in silence for a while, watching the stars, thinking about what tomorrow would bring. Eventually, Velrak found them. The Draknari commander had his own confession. I've been thinking about what you said, about underestimating humans. I realize now that my prejudice almost cost a good cadet his future, almost prevented me from learning an important lesson. We all have prejudices, Sang-hoon said. The question is whether we let them control us or whether we overcome them. I want to overcome mine, Velrak said. This mission. I'm not just fighting for the Empire. I'm fighting to prove that different species can work together. That strength comes from cooperation, not domination. Sang-hoon smiled. You're learning. Taewon would like you. The hours ticked down. Minho and Jiwon joined them. The team gathered together, checked equipment, reviewed the plan one final time. General Cax came to see them off personally. The Empire owes humanity a great debt, Cax said. Taewon taught us humility. Taught us that true strength comes from understanding our weaknesses. Now his grandson and his friend will teach us that lesson again. Go with honor. Return with victory. They boarded the infiltration ship. Small, fast, stealthy, designed to avoid detection. Taejin piloted them away from the flagship toward the target station. Through the viewport, Daehyun could see it now. A dark mass against the stars. Weapon batteries glinted in the distant sunlight. Automated defenses tracked their approach, but the ship's stealth systems hid them, made them invisible to sensors. They slipped through the defense perimeter like ghosts, just like Ghost Team had 40 years ago. The station grew larger. Details became visible. Docking ports, sensor arrays, the massive weapon itself. A cylindrical device pointed toward empty space, toward Nexus Prime. They reached the maintenance access port. Minho hacked the ancient lock. The door opened with a hiss of stale air. Beyond lay darkness. The tunnels waited. This is it, Sang-hoon said. Once we go in, there's no turning back. Everyone clear on their objectives? Nods all around. Determined faces. Fear controlled. Purpose clear. Good. Let's show these separatists what humans can do. Let's show them why the galaxy learned to respect us. And let's save 15 billion lives. They entered the tunnels. The door closed behind them with a final clang. Darkness swallowed them. The mission had begun, and somewhere in the station Hyunwoo waited, knowing they were coming, preparing his own trap. The confrontation between old friends turned enemies was inevitable now. The maintenance tunnel smelled like rust and decay. Daehyun's headlamp cut through the darkness, revealing pipes covered in corrosion and walls stained with decades of neglect. The passage was barely wide enough for him to squeeze through. Behind him, Sang-hoon moved with surprising agility for his age. Ahead, the tunnel split into 3 directions. This is where we separate, Sang-hoon said quietly. He checked his data pad. Minho, your route is left. Should take you to the power core in about 20 minutes. Jiwon, Velrak, you go right toward the weapon. Taehyun and I take the center path to the command center. Stay in communication, Velrak added. His large frame barely fit in the tunnel. He would have to crawl through some sections. Report every 5 minutes. If anyone encounters trouble, we regroup. Minho adjusted his equipment pack. The security systems are old. I can bypass them. But it takes time. If they detect us early, this gets much harder. Then we don't get detected, Jiwon said. Her voice was steady despite the fear in her eyes. We move quiet. Move smart, Like ghosts, they synchronized their watches, checked their equipment one last time. Then the group split up, disappearing into their respective tunnels. Daehyun followed Sang-hoon through the darkness. The tunnel sloped downward. Water dripped somewhere ahead. The metal walls groaned and creaked around them. This station was old, unstable. One strong impact could collapse sections. "Watch your footing," Sang-hoon whispered. "Step where I step." Some of these panels are weak. They moved slowly, carefully. Every sound seemed amplified in the confined space. Daehyun's heartbeat thundered in his ears. His breath came too fast. He forced himself to calm down. Focus. Remember his training. After 10 minutes, they reached a junction. Sang-hoon consulted his datapad. The command center is 2 levels up. There should be an access ladder ahead. They found it. A rusted ladder leading upward through a vertical shaft. Sang-hoon tested the first rung. It held. He began climbing. Daehyun followed. Halfway up, his radio crackled. Minho's voice came through soft and urgent. "I'm at the power core. Security is heavier than expected. 6 guards. Automated turrets. Going to take longer to bypass." "Take your time," Sang-hoon responded. "We need the power disruption to create our distraction. Don't rush and make mistakes." "Understood." They continued climbing. The shaft seemed endless. Daehyun's arms burned. His fingers ached from gripping the corroded metal. But he pushed through the pain, thought about the billions of people on Nexus Prime. Families, children, all depending on them to succeed. Finally, they reached the top. Another tunnel stretched ahead. But this one was different, cleaner, better maintained. They were entering the operational sections of the station. "From here it gets dangerous," Sang-hoon said. "There will be patrols, cameras, we need to be invisible." They crept forward. Daehyun's senses felt heightened. Every sound was a potential threat. Every shadow could hide an enemy. His training took over. "Move heel to 2. Control your breathing. Stay in the darkness." A patrol passed ahead. 2 separatist soldiers in combat armor. They talked quietly as they walked, completely unaware of the humans hiding in the shadows 10 feet away. Daehyun held his breath. Didn't move. Didn't even blink. The patrol continued past. Turned a corner, disappeared. Sang-hoon tapped his shoulder. They moved forward again. Reached a ventilation grate. Through the metal slats, Daehyun could see into a large room. Equipment filled the space, monitors, weapons, and people. At least 20 separatist soldiers. "Armory," Sang-hoon whispered. "We need to go around." They backtracked. Found another route. The tunnels were a maze, but Sang-hoon navigated them like he'd been here before, reading the station's layout perfectly. Ji-won's voice crackled over the radio. "We've reached the weapon. It's bigger than the schematics showed. More complex. Going to take some time to disable safely." "How long?" Sang-hoon asked. 30 minutes. Maybe 40. "You don't have 40 minutes, a new voice said over the radio. Cold. Familiar. "Hello, old friend." Hyunwoo. Sang-hoon's jaw tightened. "You've been listening to our communications since you entered the station. Did you think I wouldn't expect you? I knew Cax would call Ghost Team. Knew you'd come for me personally." Hyunwoo laughed. "I've prepared a welcome for you. The command center is waiting. Come face me like you used to. Or have you gotten too old? Too soft?" "I'm coming," Sang-hoon said quietly. "And I'm bringing your mistakes with me." "My mistakes? You mean the boy? Taewon's grandson?" Hyunwoo's voice turned thoughtful. "Interesting choice. Bringing a child to a battlefield. Just like the old days, right? Using young soldiers to fight old men's wars." "This is your war," Sang-hoon replied. "Your choice. You're the one threatening billions of innocent lives." "Innocent?" Hyunwoo's voice hardened. "There are no innocents in the Empire. They all benefit from our exploitation. From the slavery of human ingenuity to alien purposes, they all deserve what's coming." The communication cut off. Silence filled the tunnel. Daehyun whispered, "He knows we're here. He's waiting for us. It's a trap." "Of course it's a trap," Sang-hoon said. "But we're walking into it anyway. Because that's what he expects. And when he expects something, he gets confident. Confident people make mistakes. They moved faster now. Stealth was less important since Hyunwoo already knew their location. The tunnel opened into a larger passage. Better lit. Guards would definitely be ahead. Sang-hoon handed Daehyun a small device. "Nerve disruptor. Touch it to expose skin. It shuts down their nervous system for about 30 seconds. Non-lethal but effective." Try not to kill anyone if you can help it. Most of these people are misguided, not evil. They emerged from the tunnel into a corridor. 2 guards stood at the far end. They saw the humans immediately, started to raise their weapons. Sang-hoon moved like lightning, closed the distance before they could fire. His hand struck one guard's throat, grabbed the other's weapon and twisted it away. Both guards went down hard but alive. Dae-hyun helped drag them into a side room, tied them up. They'd wake up in a few minutes with headaches, nothing more. Command center is through here, Sang-hoon said. They stood before a large sealed door. Security panel glowed red. Locked. Minho's voice came over the radio. I'm in position. Ready to kill the power on your signal. Ji-won? Sang-hoon asked. Almost done disabling the weapon's firing mechanism. 5 more minutes. You don't have 5 minutes, Hyunwoo's voice interrupted again. I just activated the weapon's secondary trigger. If your friend tampers with it any further, it detonates. Kills everyone on this station, including you. Ji-won's gasp came over the radio. He's not lying. There's a dead man's switch attached to the core. If I disconnect it, the weapon goes critical. You see? Hyunwoo said. I thought of everything. The only way to stop the weapon now is to shut down the station's entire power grid. And the only way to do that is to come through this door and defeat me personally, face to face. Like the old days. Sang-hoon stared at the door, calculating, planning. Minho, when I give the signal, cut all power to the station, everything. That should disable the weapon systems. But it will also disable life support, Minho warned. Everyone on this station will have about 30 minutes of air left. Then we better work fast. Sang-hoon looked at Dae-hyun. When we go through that door, things will happen quickly. Hyunwoo won't be alone. He'll have guards. Elite fighters. Stay close to me. Watch my back. And remember everything I taught you. Dae-hyun nodded. His mouth was dry. His hands trembled slightly. But he gripped his weapon and steadied himself. I'm ready. Good. Sang-hoon placed his hand on the door control. Minho, kill the power, now. The station plunged into darkness. Emergency lights flickered on, casting everything in red. The door's lock disengaged. Sang-hoon pushed it open. Beyond was the command center. Large, circular. Monitors covered the walls, now dark from the power loss. And in the center stood Hyunwoo. He looked older than the photos. Gray hair, lined face. But his eyes were sharp and cold. He wore simple combat gear. No armor, he didn't need it. Behind him stood 6 fighters in full battle armor. Elite guards. Welcome, old friend, Hyunwoo said. I've been waiting 40 years for this conversation. Sang-hoon stepped into the room. Dae-hyun followed. The door sealed behind them with a hiss. Trapped now. No retreat. It doesn't have to be like this, Sang-hoon said. Surrender. Let us deactivate the weapon properly. No one else has to die. Die? Hyunwoo laughed. I'm trying to save humanity. The Empire uses us, exploits us, takes our ideas and uses them to oppress others. We're slaves with longer leashes, and you helped them do it. You and Taewon. You betrayed everything we fought for. We fought for respect, Sang-hoon countered. For recognition. To prove humans deserved a place in the galaxy. And we won. The Empire changed because of us. Changed? Hyunwoo's voice rose. They're still in control. Still making the rules. We just smile and obey now. Call it cooperation instead of subjugation. But it's the same thing. You're wrong, Dae-hyun said. His voice surprised him. Strong. Clear. My grandfather didn't train the Emperor's Guard to serve them. He did it to show them what humans could be. He earned their respect, changed how they saw us. That's not slavery. That's leadership. Hyunwoo looked at him. Really looked at him. Taewon's grandson. You have his eyes. His determination. Did your grandfather tell you what the Empire did during the First Contact War? How they slaughtered colonies? Killed civilians? Women and children? Yes, Dae-hyun's the guards opened fire. Energy bolts filled the command center. But Sang-hoon had already moved. He grabbed Dae-hyun and rolled behind a control console. Shots scorched the metal where they'd been standing. 6 guards plus Hyunwoo, Sang-hoon said quickly. I'll handle 4. You take 2. Remember your training. Don't fight their strength. Use it against them. Before Dae-hyun could respond, Sang-hoon was up and moving. The old man darted between cover with incredible speed. His movements were precise, efficient, no wasted energy. A guard charged at Dae-hyun, big, armored. The soldier swung a rifle like a club. Dae-hyun ducked under it. felt the air move above his head. His training took over. Don't block. Redirect. He grabbed the guard's arm and used the momentum, guided the soldier's swing into a control panel. The impact stunned the guard. Daehyun jabbed the nerve disruptor into an exposed neck joint. The guard collapsed, one down. Another guard came from the left. Faster, more experienced. This one didn't make the mistake of charging blindly. Moved with tactical precision. Fired shots to pin Daehyun down. Advanced methodically. Daehyun couldn't reach him. The guard had range advantage. Daehyun looked around desperately. Saw a broken piece of metal conduit. Grabbed it. Threw it not at the guard but at a damaged monitor above him. The monitor exploded in sparks. The guard flinched, looked up. Daehyun closed the distance. Slid under the guard's line of fire. Swept his legs. The armored soldier toppled. Daehyun used the nerve disruptor again. 2 down. Across the room, Sang-hoon fought like a ghost. He'd already disabled 3 guards. His movements were beautiful to watch. Every action served multiple purposes. A block became a strike. A dodge became a repositioning. He fought 4 opponents simultaneously and made it look easy. But Hyunwoo just watched, waited, studied Sang-hoon's technique, looking for weaknesses, patterns. The last 2 guards by Sang-hoon attacked together, coordinated. They'd seen what happened to their comrades, weren't going to make the same mistakes. They used teamwork, one high, one low, forcing Sang-hoon to divide his attention. Sang-hoon struggled against 2 coordinated opponents, took a hit to the ribs, another to the shoulder. He was strong but old. Couldn't maintain this pace forever. Daehyun saw it happening, made a decision. He grabbed the rifle from one of the unconscious guards. Didn't know how to shoot well but didn't need to. He fired at the ceiling above the 2 guards fighting Sang-hoon. The shots hit support beams. Metal groaned. A panel fell. The guards jumped aside to avoid being crushed. Lost their coordination. Sang-hoon capitalized instantly. Took them down one after another. 6 guards unconscious. Only Hyunwoo remained. The separatist leader clapped slowly. Impressive. You taught the boy well. He fights like Taewon used to. Smart, adaptable, but it won't be enough. Hyunwoo drew a blade from his belt. Long, curved, deadly. I've had 40 years to prepare for this moment. I've studied, trained, enhanced myself with alien technology. I'm faster than I used to be, stronger. You can't beat me, old friend. Maybe not, Sang-hoon admitted. He was breathing hard now, bleeding from several cuts. But I don't have to beat you. I just have to stop you. Ji-won's voice crackled over the radio. Power's down. The weapon is offline. But the dead man's switch is still active. If we don't restore power in 20 minutes, it triggers automatically. 20 minutes, Hyunwoo said. That's how long you have to defeat me and restart the power core. Think you can do it? Sang-hoon didn't answer with words. He attacked fast, aggressive, used techniques Daehyun had never seen before, secret moves saved for this exact moment. But Hyunwoo was ready. He blocked, countered. His blade flashed like lightning. The 2 former friends fought with desperate intensity. Decades of training. Decades of shared experience. They knew each other's styles perfectly. The fight was brutal. Neither could gain advantage. They were too evenly matched. Every attack met a defense. Every trap anticipated. They moved through the command center like dancers performing a deadly routine. Daehyun watched, looking for an opening to help. But the fight moved too fast. Too precise. If he interfered, he might hurt Sang-hoon instead of helping. Then Hyunwoo landed a solid hit. His blade cut deep into Sang-hoon's leg. The old man stumbled, fell to one knee. Blood pooled beneath him. It's over, Hyunwoo said. He raised his blade for the final strike. You were a great warrior once, but time makes fools of us all. Maybe, Sang-hoon gasped, but time also teaches wisdom. He pressed a button on his wrist device. Throughout the station, a signal went out. Minyo received it at the power core. Ji-won received it at the weapon. Felrak received it with the Imperial forces waiting outside. Now, Sang-hoon shouted. Multiple things happened at once. Minyo didn't just restore power. He overloaded it. Sent massive surges through the station systems. Disabled the weapon's dead man switch through electromagnetic interference. The lights blazed so bright everyone was temporarily blinded. Imperial forces breached the station from 3 entry points simultaneously. Cax had been waiting for the signal. His warriors poured in. The separatists were overwhelmed in minutes. And in the command center, Daehyun made his move. While Hyunwoo was blinded by the light surge while his attention was on Sang-hoon, Daehyun tackled him from the side. They crashed into a control console together. Hyunwoo recovered fast, threw Daehyun off, raised his blade, but Velrak burst through the door at that moment. The Draknari commander grabbed Hyunwoo's arm, twisted the blade away, held the separatist leader in an iron grip. "It's over," Velrak said. "Your weapon is disabled. Your forces are surrendering. You failed." Hyunwoo struggled uselessly. Then he went limp, defeated. "You don't understand. None of you understand. I was trying to save us. By killing billions?" Daehyun stood up slowly. His whole body hurt. "That's not salvation. That's genocide. They use us," Hyunwoo said desperately. "Can't you see? The Empire takes our ideas, our innovations, uses them to control other species. We're just tools to them." "No," Sang-hoon said. He limped over, putting pressure on his wounded leg. "We're partners, equals. Your problem is you never understood the difference between cooperation and submission." Taewon knew. He taught the Empire that humans deserve respect, and they learned. Slowly, imperfectly, but they learned. "Taewon was a fool," Hyunwoo spat. "Taewon was my grandfather," Daehyun said quietly, "and he was a hero. He proved that humans don't need to dominate to survive. We just need to be ourselves, smart, adaptable, determined. That's what makes us special. Not strength, not power, our humanity." Hyunwoo stared at him. Something shifted in his eyes. Doubt, regret. Maybe you're right. Maybe I lost my way." Imperial security arrived, took Hyunwoo into custody. Medics rushed to treat Sang-hoon's injuries. The station was secured. The weapon dismantled. 15 billion lives saved. General Cax entered the command center, surveyed the scene, looked at the unconscious guards, at Hyunwoo in restraints, at the exhausted humans who had accomplished the impossible. "Once again, humans show us what true strength means," Cax said. He bowed deeply. "The Empire owes you an unpayable debt. Just treat us as equals," Sang-hoon said. "That's all we've ever asked for. You've earned that and more." Cax turned to Daehyun. "Young cadet, your grandfather would be immensely proud. You've upheld his legacy, proved that Taewon's teachings weren't just about combat. They were about character, about refusing to give up, about being human." Daehyun felt tears in his eyes, relief, exhaustion, pride. "Thank you, sir." Over the next hours, the situation resolved. The separatists surrendered without their leader. Most of them were just misguided people who felt exploited. Cax promised to address their concerns, to examine how the Empire could better honor its human partners. Hyunwoo was taken into custody, not executed. Sang-hoon advocated for rehabilitation instead of punishment. He's sick, broken by the war, by anger, but he was a good man once. Maybe he can be again. Minho, Jiwon, and Daehyun were promoted, given commendations, offered positions in an elite joint task force that combined Imperial forces with human tactics. Commander Velrak requested to train permanently under human methods. "I was wrong about your species," he told Daehyun. "I judged you by physical strength alone, but you showed me that real warriors use their minds, their hearts, their refusal to surrender. I want to learn that. I want to teach it to others." The Emperor himself sent a personal message. He declared that human combat training would become mandatory at all Imperial military academies, that humans would be recognized as equal partners in the Empire's defense, that Taewon's legacy would be honored throughout the galaxy. 2 weeks later, Daehyun stood in the training hall again. But everything had changed. He wore an instructor's badge now. Around him waited alien cadets from a dozen different species. They looked at him with respect, with curiosity, with eagerness to learn. Sang-hoon stood at the back of the room, watching, smiling. His leg had healed well. He'd decided to stay at the academy for a while. Teach the next generation, make sure Taewon's lessons weren't forgotten. Daehyun cleared his throat, looked at the assembled cadets, saw the same doubt he'd once felt reflected in some of their eyes, the same questions.